how did Persephone become queen of the Underworld? Before Persephone became queen of the Underworld, the ancient Greeks believed her return brought life back to the earth. When she returned, flowers bloomed, the harvest began, and the winter came to an end. She was the daughter of Demeter, goddess of the harvest. Together, they represented a world where life always returned. Then one ordinary day, while gathering the wildflowers, Persephone noticed something unusual. A single narcissus, more beautiful than any flower she had ever seen. According to the Homeric hymn to Demeter, the oldest surviving account of this myth, it wasn't there by chance. It had been placed there by Zeus himself. The moment she reached for it, everything changed. The moment Persephone touched the flower, the earth beneath her feet split open. From the darkness below, Hades emerged in a black chariot pulled by 4 immortal horses. Before Persephone could escape, she was seized and carried to the Underworld. She cried out for help, but no one came. To the ancient Greeks, this wasn't simply the kidnapping of a goddess. It marked the moment where the world itself began to change. But the oldest surviving account of the myth reveals something many modern retellings leave out. Hades wasn't acting alone. According to the Homeric hymn to Demeter, Hades wasn't acting alone. Before Persephone ever reached that meadow, Zeus had already promised her to Hades as his bride. But there was one goddess who knew nothing about it, Demeter. She searched the earth for her daughter, but Persephone was gone. Day after day, Demeter refused to let anything grow. Crops failed, orchards withered, and the earth began to die. Faced with a world on the edge of famine, even Zeus realized something had to change. So he ordered Hades to return Persephone, but by then, it was already too late. Zeus sent Hermes to bring Persephone home. Hades agreed, but before she left, he offered her a pomegranate. According to the Homeric hymn to Demeter, Persephone ate the fruit before leaving the Underworld. Later traditions disagree on exactly how many seeds she consumed. What mattered wasn't the number, it was the act itself. In Greek tradition, anyone who ate fruit from the Underworld could never fully leave it behind. In that single moment, her fate changed forever. She could return to her mother, but never forever. From then on, part of every year belonged to the world above, and part belonged to the Underworld. But when Persephone returned, she was no longer the same goddess who had entered it. When Persephone first entered the Underworld, she was its prisoner, but she did not remain one. Over time, she became the queen of the Underworld. She ruled beside Hades, not as a captive, not as a visitor, but as one of the rulers of the realm of the dead. Ancient Greek writers no longer describe her as the young goddess who wandered through the spring meadows. They describe a queen whose authority was respected throughout the Underworld. She was recognized as its rightful queen. The goddess who once brought life to the earth now ruled the kingdom every soul would one day enter. Persephone had not simply survived the Underworld, she had become part of it. But that leaves one final question. Why did the ancient Greeks tell this story in the first place? To the ancient Greeks, this was never just the story of a goddess. It explained why the seasons changed. When Persephone returned, spring and summer followed. When she descended into the Underworld, autumn faded into winter. But the myth carried another meaning as well. Life and death were never completely separate. Just as spring always returned after winter, hope could exist beyond death. The Homeric hymn to Demeter is closely associated with the Eleusinian Mysteries, one of the most important religious traditions of ancient Greece. Centuries later, Roman poets like Ovid retold Persephone's story, adding new details that helped shape the version many people know today. Today, many visitors associate Lake Pergusa in Sicily with Persephone's abduction, although that tradition developed long after the earliest surviving version of the myth. The pomegranate remains one of Persephone's most enduring symbols, representing the connection between life, death, and renewal. So, how did Persephone become queen of the underworld? Not through a single choice, not through fate alone, but through a journey that transformed the goddess of spring into the ruler of the underworld, a queen who would forever belong to two worlds. Some doors were never meant to be opened. This is the Backtrack Vault. Subscribe and step deeper into the unknown.